Good morning, everyone. So I'm down in the studio today because in conjunction with Just For You Online UK, we are going to organise a kit which will be to make 4 coasters to create the flower effect or the bloom effect, whichever way you want to call it. So the video may be a bit longer than usual because I'm going to try and show you step by step how to achieve it. Saying that, however, I've done it a few times and each time I've had a different result. So bear that in mind. Resin is atypical and it does what it wants. So you can guide it up to a certain point, but you're never 100% certain of what the results are going to be. So to start, I've got the 4-agate silicone molds, geode style, and they are gorgeous from Just For You Online UK. And I am using their premium epoxy resin. This is the resin, and then we have the hardener. So for those of you who have never used resin, you mix. There is a ratio of 1:1 if you measure it in milliliters, or 100 to 90 if you weigh it. And I tend to prefer weighing my resin. I find it more accurate. I have digital scales and I just weigh each part and I find I get the best results. So once you've measured your resin in a container, you need to mix it very gently for 3 minutes. Some people say don't scrape the sides, but I don't want to waste any, so I make sure that I do scrape the sides and the bottom really well so that both hardener and resin are thoroughly mixed together. Try to mix it as gently as you can and put a watch on because you really do need to mix for 3 minutes. Today, I've decided to use the fine gold glitter for my centers. I am going to use Teal It Sparkles for my inside color. And for the flower petals, I am going to stay with the Supreme White epoxy paste. I prefer to do the petals in a paste as opposed to a powder because it is slightly heavier and it sits better. The powders tend to spread on the surface and you don't get the same results. But that's my way of doing it. Other artists will do it differently. So by all means, once you've got the hang of this, experiment as much as you like. I'm going to pour 3/4 of the molds in clear, then add the Teal It Sparkles in the middle, then glitter, and then I will make my petals using a piping bag. So I'm going to do the teal, and I don't need a huge amount. I kind of do this by feel. So that's for the teal. I'm going to do the white. That should do. I always end up doing too much of the white. And I'm going to put my glitter in first because it's easier to manage than putting glitter after you've put the resin in. You end up having put too much resin and then you end up having to put more glitter and you waste so much product. So I don't want a lot. It's literally to do a center. And I just want to wet this. So put a little bit in, mix it. If you find it's too sticky, add a bit more, but I want it relatively thick. I don't want it spreading everywhere in my coasters. So this is kind of the consistency I want. I don't want it any looser than that. because otherwise it will go everywhere. So that's my glitter done, and it can sit for a couple of minutes. Now my blue, till it sparkles, sorry. And I'm going to start with a small amount because I want to see what color I'm getting. And if I want to, I'll just keep on adding color, keeping in mind that you don't want to go over 10%, depending on the resin and the pigments you are using. Mix thoroughly, scrape the sides. Make sure you've got no loose pigment forming on your stick or on the sides. Check. This is going to be fairly transparent. I can see the stick underneath. So if I want to add a little bit more, then I'll add a tiny bit more. I want a bit more definition, and that will be enough. So that was the Till It Sparkles pigment. So powder form for that one. And again, mix it really well. I mean, it's better to do this quite gently because the quicker you do it, the more bubbles you're going to get. But I'm trying to keep this video at a reasonable length. I'll see if I can fast forward bits when I edit this, so you're not sitting there. So I can still see the stick, but only just. So I'm happy with that consistency. So put that on the side. And now I am going to do, oh, I'm not sure that's quite enough. Just a little bit more for the paste. So this is, as I said, the Supreme White Epoxy Pigment Paste. And this is what I'm going to need. Actually, that's too much. So as you can see, it's a small amount. You don't need a lot. These pastes are very powerful. And again, mix it thoroughly. You don't want streaks or lines. You want everything to be nicely incorporated in your resin. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. Use your stick on the side to make sure there's no massive residue on the stick itself. Mix it thoroughly. Otherwise, you will have patches. So I'm happy with that. And in this cup, I have prepared a little bag. So it's just a little plastic bag. You can get them everywhere. And I insert it in the bag, in the cup, push it down and put it over the side so it's nice and stable. So for any of you who do pastries, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a piping bag basically that we're trying to achieve. And we're going to put all of our white pigment in the piping bag. Don't want to waste any. So there we are. I don't need that anymore. That's my piping bag ready to go. My color, center color is ready to go. And so is my little bit of glitter. So now all I'm going to do is 3/4 fill these molds. Do it slowly. It's better to add maybe half in each and then go back. You don't always have to fill these molds all the way to the top. They are really chunky. So it's not necessary to fill them. That's entirely up to you. If you want thinner ones, you put less. If you want them to be full, then obviously you would fill them. So just pour slowly. So there we are. Keep paper napkins or baby wipes, whichever you prefer to work with, nearby. So now I'm going to use this electric heat tool. It's not as big as my other one because I don't want the power on these molds. I don't want to burn them. So very slowly. It's only got one power. You just go round and remove as many of the bubbles as you can. You don't want to stay in the same area too long because you don't want to burn the molds. So now I have my teal mix and I am going to pour gently and slowly in a circular motion. So that's that piece done. Again, we're going to blow the bubbles. And if you want to spread it a little bit, you can by guiding it in a circle gently, but not too much. Okay, so now I'm going to need another stick to guide it. So I've got one here. I'm just cleaning off, and I want to put a little bit of the glitter in the center. Now we've got our bag. Just going to blow some of the bubbles off it very quickly. And a very sharp pair of scissors. And we're going to take it out. Sorry, I keep on knocking the camera stand. And we're going to take it into a point like a piping bag and twist a few times on itself. You want to have a nice point. Now, this is always the issue. You want to cut the smallest hole possible because otherwise there is too much pigment that comes out. I'm just repositioning the bag in my right hand because I am right-handed. And we are going to start by making little petals all around the center, and then we're going to carry them outside and basically fill the mold completely with these petals. And you basically do the same thing for all 4 coasters. They won't all look the same, but it doesn't matter. Take your time, fill the gaps. And there we are. So that was my bag. Put that away. And now what I want to do is blow the bubbles again, but I want this time to blow from the center outwards. So gently, I'm going to move the heat gun from center to outwards. Now, if you fancy, you can take a stick and bring up a point. But you don't have to. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. The kit is available with Just For You Online UK. I will show you the results when they are cured, and I will see you guys later. Bye. So let's have a look. Need to clean up the edges a little bit, just a little bit rough. Get that out of the way, and that is what we have. Very pretty. I love what the teal did underneath. Gorgeous. So that's it from me. The other two will be the same. I was going to do it in French, and then I realized I only did the tutorial in English, because obviously when I'm trying to teach, it's not always easy to do both languages at the time that you're showing something. Love the back and this result. Oh, that's just a whole load of glitter from my hands. Sorry. It's not actually on the coaster. It's all over my hands. And there we are. Back is really pretty on this one. I love the effect of this one. So that's the backs.